the keys are to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Welcome to the anniversary show, Alex. The first video episode we ever did was the first preview show for last season. It is officially one season of doing video shows.
One whole year, and I cannot believe it. It's come and gone so very, very, very ridiculously quickly. Yeah. But you know what, man? It's been a fun year. It's been a lot of great stuff happening, and the best part of it all, it's time for preview shows again, my guy.
Oh, and preview shows are jam-packed from we get into the key matchups of the game, at least some that we see. We also have Wild That's Bold, where we make our outlandish, over-the-top, bold predictions for the game. We have the Lock It Up segment, where not only do we have the Azorean One, that he'll be giving his interesting take on how to make picks, but also the TCC has made their picks as well. We're going to be picking all the NFC West games, including that big 49ers matchup. And it's just going to be an exciting time. Of course, we always end every single episode with some Q&A.
Always some Q&A, and Q&A is always a good time. It's always a lot of fun. But before we get too far in this, before we get too crazy with it, make sure that you hit that like button right now. Hit that subscribe button as well if you're new to the channel. This is your first preview show. Let us know how hype you are down there in the chat right now, whether you're watching the live or you're watching the replay. We love hearing from all of our Cutback Crew members. Ant, always a fun part. Let's start this. Let's kick this thing off right. It's 49ers versus the Lions at the Lions for week 1 of the NFL season.
Yep, this is going to be big, Alex.
Super big.
Yep, first game of the year, you can't hold anything back.
Never can hold anything back, right? It has to be, you have to come ready to go, and the Lions fans are bringing the energy. I want them to keep that energy all the way through Sunday and into Monday's recap show as well.
Yeah, because you come to kneecap, but sometimes you get kneecap. So be careful about that, Mr. Campbell.
You know that's right.
But it's definitely fun. I like when they bring the heat. I like when they bring the energy to chat. It's exciting. It's fun. And this is going to be a fun game. I think everyone should be hyped because there's only one time a year where everyone's undefeated, and it's right now.
That's true, and that's very accurate, my guy. And look, there's a lot of things to look forward to with this game. Not only is this the return of guys like Nick Bosa, right, and D Ford coming back onto the field after being away for an entirety of a season. Let's also not forget DJ Jones. It's been a while since we've seen him out there in the San Francisco 49ers uniform. But it's essentially the return of this team, right? The 2019 version of this team is essentially coming back into the fold, right? It's coming into the fold of them competing and trying to put themselves back in a position to get themselves to another Super Bowl. So you have all the pieces healthy, you have all the stars aligning for things to go off well, and ironically enough, right, all these people returning, all of this stuff happening all at once, not to mention the last time they won a Super Bowl, Detroit Lions was the matchup in week 1. It's almost as if there's a sign from the heavens above, but the 49ers need to go into this week and they need to capitalize on this game because this is a new team. This is a new Lions team, new head coach, new direction for this organization, new approach to the game.
If you are taking those kind of things into account, yes, 100%, you are excited about playing Detroit in Detroit. Whether you win or lose this game, you go to the Super Bowl and win. That's what the 49ers have done. 1981, 1988, they played Detroit in week 1 at Detroit. One of them they won, one of them they lost, and both times they won the Super Bowl. So if you're going to take that into account, the 49ers are sitting pretty, and you might as well go to Vegas now and completely lock it down because you're going to win the Super Bowl.
That's fair.
That's not how I'm looking at it. I'm just looking at it that Detroit is the first matchup that we got to get through. And we do have questions on our football team, but I think Detroit has a lot of questions too, which means this is going to be an interesting matchup. We're going to get to see a lot of good players, matching them in certain situations and using their skill sets. But ultimately, how does these schemes, benefit the right team? Like, how do they scheme it up? I want to see how Dan Campbell and his coaching staff scheme it up to go against this 49ers defense. Because I think the defense can get after you in a big way and they can really attack. And we know that they're going to want to run the football. And if they run the football, effectively, they're going to be able to keep the 49ers at bay with that gold rush, that pass rush. But if not, then they're going to be able to get after Goff early and often, and Goff already knows what's coming. So he's already. They haven't even started the game yet, but he's already in a back pedal.
And he should be in a back pedal. This is something that Jared Goff is very familiar with, right? He's very familiar with it. He's worried about it. He's definitely thinking about this team and what this team has done to him in the past. And he's looking at the pieces around him, and he's got to be thinking to himself, this is definitely not Los Angeles.
Yeah.
This isn't the Rams. This isn't that team. Oh, goodness gracious almighty. And trying to get these guys motivated to step up and bring their A game because they're going to absolutely need to do it. So for those of you Cutback Crew members new to the channel, if you've never seen a preview show here with the 49ers Cutback, great news. You're getting the full taste of it today. We got some key matchups for you to go over. We're going to talk a little bit about the game as well and just different things we think is going to happen and what's going to go on and how this thing may play out and how this thing may shake out. But we also got, wow, that's bold. Whoa, really bold. As well as Lock It Up with the Azorean One, which is always a good time. And the newest addition to Lock It Up, you, the Cutback Crew, especially those of you who voted in the poll all throughout the week. Season 2, and better than ever.
Yeah, Season 2 is going to be great. I'm looking forward to getting into this. I can't wait to start breaking down this game. I finally got my studying all the way done, and I'm ready and prepared for 49ers versus Detroit Week 1.
49ers versus Detroit. This is going to be a big one, but let's start with some key matchups in this game. Things that you need to watch out for, Cutback Crew. Things you need to be looking out for. 49ers faithful Chuck Harper. How you doing, good sir? And Ant, we'll start with your first key matchup right here. I'll come back to you. Oh, that's right. I got the audio captured as well in this as well. And your key matchup right there, the front seven versus this 49ers O-line. How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think that there are a few guys on Detroit that could possibly give the 49ers some issues. I was going over their line and kind of some of the guys they had, and some names stuck out, like Michael Brockers, for instance. Michael Brockers dealing with a little bit of an injury. He's been nicked up with the shoulder, but he's somebody the 49ers are familiar with from his time in LA, and he was recently sent over to Detroit, and now he's going to be a player they're going to have to contend with. But if they can handle him, that's going to go a long way in helping the team. The other one that's going to be a very familiar name to everyone, if you've been watching our show for a while, is Aleem McNeil. Aleem McNeil is somebody that we were super high on coming out of NC State, an interior defensive lineman that has a lot of potential. We wanted him to end up in San Francisco because we saw what he could do. He reminds me a lot of DJ Jones, except he's bigger than DJ Jones. So he's an exciting young player, but I think the Niners can somewhat handle him on the inside. And then the other name that stuck out as far as that front seven goes is Jamie Collins. All the times, in New England, what he could do there. He'll be able to handle business in this game, but the 49ers are going to have to execute and get this run game going. And when I'm talking about this offensive line against the front seven, that's really what I'm talking about. Getting this run game going, getting it established, being able to move these guys off the mark and being successful. If the 49ers offensive line can do that consistently, they're able to run on early downs, first and second down, and gash the Detroit Lions, and they're going to open up the playbook to be able to hit play action passes down the field and take deep shots to Deebo Samuel, great crossing patterns to George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk. They're going to be able to take advantage of everything they want to do, not to mention Raheem Mostert will just get going. And if you get the Mostert going, it's going to be a long day. So the offensive line needs to do that. Plus, if the offensive line establishes the run game and gets the holes going, Mike McGlinchey is going to settle in and have a nice day because he's not going to have traditional kick slides. He's going to be able to go ahead and move the pocket and do the things that he does well. That is what we're looking for. If the 49ers win on the offensive line, I think ultimately they score a lot of points against Detroit.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. And shout out to Tommy there for the $2 super chat. Meth plus Campbell soup equals Detoilet coach, excuse me.
Okay.
Detoilet coach. Megan will get on that. She'll handle that message there for review. Put that in there, Megan. Put that in. But look, I like the way that you broke that down. I like the way that you brought this about because everything with this 49ers offense starts with this O-line, right?
Yeah.
This O-line has to be on point. They have to be able to help establish that run game, get things going, and really get that jump start, right? The Mostert doesn't need a whole lot of space. So it's not like this O-line has to be perfect. They just need to do a good enough job, right? They just need to get to second level, secure first level. Don't let guys like Aleem McNeil, who are known for disrupting and causing a lot of havoc up front, do those things. Don't let them get out and going with that. Slow them down just a little bit. Let Raheem Mostert get up to second level at full speed, because if he does, you have problems. Put us in second and short, third and short situations, such like that. and then let guys like Trey Sermon bully his way for those first down. Let Kyle Juszczyk exploit you once you got the run game going and you have to start stacking guys in the box. Ant, I love it. It's all phenomenal. It's all fantastic. And that's why I think yours honestly leads into mine, which is the slot receivers for the 49ers. Whoever it is that's playing in the slot going up against Mr. A.J. Parker. He's a young guy. He's an undrafted cornerback there for Detroit. And he's got a little bit of a shoulder thing going on, right? So he's not 100% healthy. So if he's going, this is a situation where the Niners can capitalize 100,000% on. He's an untested guy. He's an undrafted guy. So his experience level is very minimal. And you're going to have him potentially go up against guys like Ayuk out in space, guys like Trent Sherfield, who we've seen what he's been able to do against some teams' ones, as well as just what he's looked like against our ones in practices. Also, guys like, you cannot forget Mohamed Sanu, who's a veteran presence guy. And there's going to be occasions, right, where you throw Kittle out in slot situations and A.J. Parker may be slotted up against him and he's going to get bullied. And situations where you could have Debo out there in the slot ready to bully this guy around as well. This is a key for the 49ers. You have to find ways to exploit weaknesses within this defense. This is one of them that is a weakness, not only because of the lack of experience, and he's a guy who hasn't really been tested in this league, but also not 100% healthy. So when you're not healthy, get running early, throw 3 wide receiver sets out there, let your wide receivers play bully ball as well as your other guys, right? Let them go out and try to punish this guy physically, make him second guess wanting to come up and press, make him second guess, is this a run? Is this a pat? Do I need to step up in the box? Should I get out of the way? What am I doing? And the more he's thinking about, not getting brutalized and bruised by these wide receivers, the harder it's going to be for him to cover in space.
Yeah, and they have some questions in the secondary overall. And that's one of the big ones. You brought it up, and that's going to be a key matchup because if they force this guy to tackle in space, he's going to have a big problem because Deebo Samuel's not going down by just this one guy. So I think there is a mismatch problem there. You're right. You hit on this perfectly. This is a place where the 49ers can take advantage, especially in the red zone. They can take advantage of this young player and get to the end zone, use their big body receivers, and they're going to have a lot of opportunities to do that. And anytime you get a favorable matchup on the inside, because they're not going to be able to run matchup. I don't know if you think Jeffrey Okudah is going to go wherever Brandon Ayuk goes. I don't think so.
No.
I think he's going to play one side of the field, and they're going to pray to God that the other side is able to hold up. They got Melifonwu as well. That's a backup, but right now he's not out there playing. A tall guy, but somebody that I think would struggle with someone like Brandon Ayuk and his quickness. I think the 49ers have a distinct advantage on the outside with these receivers. They have a distinct advantage in the slot. They're going to be able to create opportunities for big plays down the field. And if the run game's going, like you said, the run game leads into this slot game. These two together, these matchups are going to make sure that Detroit is in a world of hurt because if you don't take these two situations away, 49ers are going to be able to just sit on it all day and just take what's there. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to live with those slot receivers all day long as they catch the football. And somebody like Trent Sherfield has been catching the football a lot this preseason. I look for him to step up and have a very nice game. So I like that matchup a lot. And because there's so many questions in the secondary, I think it's a good point because they don't exactly have the strongest safety room either.
No, they really don't. There's a lot of questions just about this team in the secondary in general, this defense overall. It is an overhaul. That's what they're doing. That's why they took Lee McNeil where they took him.
Yeah.
They're trying to help generate that pass rush, slow down teams' ability to run the football. One guy is never going to necessarily make the difference unless that guy is Aaron Donald, but there's a reason why Aaron Donalds of the world don't fall out of trees every day. So it's still going to be a tough task and a tough thing here for this defense to do, on top of the fact now that it looks like Trey Lance is going to be ready to go. So now we're going to get potentially the Shanna plan in full effect. Campbell talked about they were already prepping for dual quarterbacks and both of these guys.
Yeah.
Trey's looking like he's going to be out there operating. So now you got 2 quarterbacks, 2 different ways for you to attack at all times for the 49ers. Poor Detroit. That's a big yikes.
Yeah, that's huge for the 49ers run game.
Yes.
So that helps the offensive line out so much. If you can establish Trey Lance in the run game and make Detroit have to, bring up an extra player to play in the box, an extra safety to be in that box, there's going to be opportunities down the field. And we've already seen Trey Lance can take advantage of those opportunities in a big way. He can hit players down the field. And we've seen Jimmy Garoppolo during preseason actually take shots down the field.
Also
he tried to Mohamed Sanu. He's going to look for plays open, and I think Kyle Shanahan's going to have some specific ones planned out that he can go ahead and take shots down the field, and they'll execute. I wouldn't be shocked if we don't see a couple big bombs. I'm not saying which quarterback's going to do it, maybe one of each. But I think we're going to see a couple times where they take shots and they end up being big-time plays because I think Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and Sherfield are going to beat players down the field. And I haven't even mentioned George Kittle yet because he can get it done as well.
And he's going to get it done in both aspects of this game, whether it's in the receiving aspect, whether it's in the blocking aspect. George Kittle is set up for massive, gigantic amounts of success. Yeah. And that's the thing, right, is we didn't even talk about Kyle Juszczyk either and what he could potentially bring to the table for this 49ers offense and the way they can utilize him in this game, whether that's out in space against slot nickel guys in their corners or linebacking core. Doesn't really matter what you do. There's going to be too many weapons, even with guys like Jalen Hurd not out on the field, for this Detroit Lions team to slow this offense down. Everyone stays healthy. Everyone's good to go. It's going to be problems for the Detroit defense, and that's not even to mention all the problems they're going to have to deal with on their side of the ball, on the offensive side, dealing with this D.
Yeah, there's going to be so many other cool matchups that we're going to get into here in a second, and we're going to get to talk about all the defensive stuff because the 49ers defense is, I mean, they're going to be beasts. They're going to be hard to deal with this year, and Detroit unfortunately gets to deal with them first. There's no film on what DeMeco Ryans is going to do.
Sure.
You wonder how much they're going to put on film. I look for him to go out and attack and get after Detroit early, put Jared Goff on his heels, but yeah, we haven't got to see it yet. This is the first time we get to see DeMeco Ryans' defensive philosophy.
True, and putting Jared Goff on his heels, and I think that's your defensive matchup, is it not? It's time to swarm Jared Goff versus DeMeco Ryans. That is a very good one, and why are you feeling this is a key for the defense this week?
Because it's all about keeping Goff off balance. If you get Goff off balance where he's not able to trust his eyes and he's having to get somewhat squirmish in the pocket, he's going to make mistakes. He can make mistakes when he has a clean pocket, but when you make it hard for him, he doesn't understand what he's looking at. He will throw into coverage and he will make just crazy mistakes. So for DeMeco Ryans, he needs to get Jared Goff uncomfortable early. One way to do that is to disguise coverages, but to also bring blitz, especially the first time they get to third down. I think he should run a zero and bring everyone and just go after Goff and just make this guy make the hot route read, but put the fear of God into him that you're going to come after him every single time. It'll establish everything that the 49ers want to do on the defensive side of the ball. But I think they have a nice blueprint for how they've played against Jared Goff for years now. Robert Saleh has always executed a good game plan, and the 49ers will always beat the Rams. Now you're going to put Goff on a lesser team with lesser talent, with a different style of offense, and I think that it's going to hurt him if he doesn't get the run. If they don't get the run game going early, this defense is going to be able to tee off on Goff, and I think that DeMeco Ryans is going to go after him early and often, and he's going to get after him. He's going to get him on the move, and he's going to put pressure on him. And now we have the defensive ends and edge rushers on the outside to go ahead and run him down if that happens.
Yes, and let's also not forget it relies solely on this run game.
Yeah,
the run game has to get going because the wide receiving core: Tyrell Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Khalif Raymond. I don't even know who Khalif Raymond is. Quintez Cephas, is the other name that is brought up a lot with this team. Look, I watched him play a lot last year. He's kind of a possession guy. That's what he is. They've taken some shots to him downfield. They've tried stretching the field with him a little bit. He has some success at times. He doesn't at others. Not a very consistent route runner. Not very great at getting open deep down the field. Much better operating in short yardage and within the intermediate area of the field. I would say less so intermediate and more really on the shorter routes. So they don't really have a lot of guys who can create, and Amon-Ra St. Brown is still a question mark. I know I like him. I know you like him. But it's just you don't know. You don't know how it's going to translate from the college game to the professional level, so it very well could be a problem for his wide receiving core. So DeMeco Ryans putting that pressure on Goff and making sure, even if he has guys getting open, that he has less time to make those reads. Right. And you're 100% right. It is vital. It's extremely important. And you know what'll make it much easier to bring pressure, Ant? Is if this edge rushing group is able to bring the pain and make guys like Penei Sewell basically sweat bullets, right? Be in a nightmare situation the entirety of his first professional NFL game, in which it matters, in which it actually physically matters and it counts. Opposite of Penei Sewell at that at the left tackle spot is Taylor Decker. Okay, so you have Decker on one side, and then you have a guy like Penei Sewell on the right. And quick $4.99 super chat there from Chuck Harper. Will Aaron Banks see any playing time? Also, are you guys going to be at the game? We will not be at the game. As for Aaron Banks, not going to be playing this game. I don't believe it. He's just coming off of the shoulder stuff.
I think you shouldn't want him to play.
At this point, no, because of the way he's looked. And we'll get to that in a little bit, Chuck, a little bit deeper. But let's talk a little bit about this edge rushing group and what they can bring to the table. If Nick Bosa, D Ford, Samson Ebukam, if these guys are able to have huge amounts of success in 4, right? When we're just rushing 4 guys, then the ways you can blitz and the times that you can blitz can become frequent and more often, because you can have a team like Detroit now sending 2 guys to go cover a Bosa, sending 2 guys to go cover a D Ford, right? And trying to operate essentially doubles and sending maybe an extra additional running back to pick up on the interior to help up with the 2 pass rushers, meaning you free up those edges and the interiors to send blitz packages with Fred Warner, whether that's Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga comes in for a drive and goes to Tavon. Well, it doesn't matter who you bring in, Whiskey Tart, Jimmy Ward, K1, well, it can be the Shark. It doesn't matter who it is. You can send whoever you want, and you can be as aggressive as you were just talking about, Ant, and getting after Jared Goff. The edge rush is going to help that, because you got to test these 2 tackles, right? The bookends of this offensive line for Detroit, and see if they can handle. Can you stand up to the pressure? Can you isolate one-on-one in an island? If you can't, you're in big trouble. If you can at times, it's going to help them. It's going to help their offense get going a little bit easier, and it's going to force D'Amico Ryans to have to be more aggressive with that blitz package, and maybe even be a little bit more predictable when he sends it.
Might even have more problems because their left tackle Tyler Decker is injured.
He's questionable right now.
Yeah, he missed practice today.
Yes.
With a finger, so he's trending the wrong way. He was limited practice on Wednesday. Thursday he doesn't practice, so he's trending in the wrong direction. Do I think he'll play? Yes, because they only have one other tackle on the roster.
Yes,
and that is Matt Nelson, who as a rookie was a defensive lineman that they switched to offensive line. That is what they're dealing with over there. So somebody said they're a top 5 offensive line. I think that's what I saw Tommy said. Was it Vish? I don't know about all that.
I hope to God that was not the case.
Depth wise for sure. I know I'm pretty okay with the center. I think Penei Sewell's got a lot of development to do. He didn't show a lot during the preseason, and Decker's a good tackle. Top 5, I don't see it. I think that they're going to get the run game going early though, and I think they're gonna try to do that all throughout the year. But if they're not successful, and if for some reason they have an injury like this, you can't go against Nick Bosa, D Ford, and these guys with an injured hand. You have to be able to have heavy hands and get your hands on these guys every single play. If you have a weakness, they're going to be able to exploit it. You're going to not have the same sort of balance that you need to have with your hands. It's going to be problems for them. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to start reaching. He's going to start hugging. He's going to start grabbing, because that's the only thing you can do against players this good. And they're going to be able to use his elbow to kind of move him around, because he's not going to be able to have the grip that he was going to have with a bad finger. So this is bad for Detroit. It was already going to be bad because they can keep rotating new, fresh guys against Penei Sewell. Sewell is not ready for what's going to happen to him. He hasn't showed up and hasn't played to the level that everyone thought he was going to be yet. I still think he can develop into something. I think he's a very good player. But this is not the week to be learning. This is not the week to be having your first game in the NFL, because you're getting to go against all pro guys that are speed rushers off the outside but can also play with power. So you never know what to expect. At least if you have a speed or a power guy, you know what you're getting. If it's a speed guy, you can get outside early and force them upfield and around so the quarterback can step up. If it's a power guy, you can anchor down and stop them. You know how to play it. When you have guys that can do both, you don't. So they catch you off guard and every once in a while make you look really bad. I'm expecting a couple times in this game for Penei Sewell to look completely bad and for the Niners to have big-time sacks or cause Goff to get rid of the ball before he wants to.
That's what we want. That's what you have to do, especially the Goff man. He will make those gaffes and make those mistakes. But so back to what you were talking about, Harper. Will Aaron Banks see any playing time? And also, you guys are going to be at the game. So no, we're not going to be at the game. As for Banks getting playing time, and more to the point that you were making, Ant, right, in regards to we really shouldn't want Banks to be getting playing time right now. He hasn't shown that he's ready. He's also coming off of a shoulder situation too with the AC joint where it was a sprain. That was not a fun situation to be trying to go up against a pass rush and brace and things of that nature, and getting up to second level, fully extending and having the power that you need to control and dominate at the line of scrimmage. But Banks isn't there yet. He's not ready. We shouldn't want to rely on this guy. Now, if the Niners get a big, do you want to get him out there and get him some run? Absolutely. You'd love for that to be the case. But you got to get up big first. And Aaron Banks isn't the guy right now that you're going to rely on with this group to get us there.
No, he's not the first guy in either.
That's also true.
I mean, this guy is kind of down the bench a little bit. He's got to work his way up. He had the injury, but he really wasn't performing to the level that he needed to perform. He hasn't pushed Daniel Brunskill. In fact, they were looking for someone to push Daniel Brunskill. They thought it was going to be Colton McKivitz. Wasn't. They thought it was going to be Tom Compton. Wasn't. They even tried. We're going to try Jalen Moore at the end.
That's true.
And I think Jalen Moore is probably the next best option. So yeah, the 49ers have some stuff on the inside. I think Jake Brendel also could play some guard. But I think Aaron Banks is kind of behind all those guys. I don't think that they believe right now he can contribute to this team, but they do think 5, 6, 7 weeks from now he'll be a big-time contributor and able to help if they have an injury. So I'm hoping he keeps developing because, he's going to be out there practicing and getting better, and hopefully he develops and is able to help this football team sometime down the road.
Absolutely. That's going to be important, but it's going to be down the road.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be down the road. Whether it's Jalen Moore that goes in before that, whether it's Tom Compton that's going in before that, like you talked about, Brendel, all of those names are names that are definitely going to be in the game right now before a guy like Aaron Banks is going to be. He's just not ready. He's just not there yet. And you know what? That's all right. I know people had high expectations. I know we were trying to come around to having those high expectations as well.
Yes.
But you and I both are not in a position right now where we want to force and rush this guy out there. Let him develop. Let him get some time. Let him drop a little bit of weight. Let him get a little stronger in the weight room. And let him get more comfortable in this system. And then let's put him back out there and see how he does.
Yeah, this is a team he probably could have had success against. Oli McNeil is somebody that he could have played against.
True.
Both big body guys. Oli McNeil not as quick, to the side of lateral movement as some of the other guys that came out. But Michael Brockers probably would have gave him some problems. So there are certain guys he'd be able to match up favorably against. So you're right. Hopefully they get a blowout and get him in the game where he can just get his feet wet and get some experience and then get some film that they can go watch. Because you'd like to see this guy keep improving because you're really trying to develop him to eventually take over one of these interior offensive line spots next year.
It's accurate. You definitely want to be able to do that because you want to have options, right? If you don't want to have to try and re-sign Lincoln Tomlinson, if you don't want to have to try and re-sign Daniel Brunskill, you need this guy to develop and turn out. Hopefully he's able to get some run if we're able to get a big opportunity here. But we'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see if the Niners can get that lead and establish this thing and get out in front like we want them to.
Yeah.
But Ant, it's time now. It's time for the fun segment. It's time for the boldness to take over the show. Welcome everyone to Wow, That's Bold.
Wow, that's really bold. Whoa.
It's time for Wow, That's Bold. If you've been around the channel before, you know this is my favorite segment because of the bold specificness at which I come with my takes. Isn't that right, Anthony? I come with the boldness.
Everything is specific.
And guess what? Today is no different.
I'm not surprised.
Here it is, folks. The 49ers are going to throw for 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns this week against the Detroit Lions. I almost said the Chicago Bears. Oh my goodness. Whoa. It's really bold. And a combined 325 yards between both quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to throw for 2 and 200 yards, and Trey is going to finish out and round out the yardage and a touchdown of his own on top of rushing another one in. So the 49ers quarterbacks account for 4 tutties, folks. 4 tutties for the 49ers quarterback room, and the Shannon plan gets off to the hottest start that it could possibly get off to.
I like that a lot. I really do. And I kind of see this game going a fun way, as I see that the 49ers are going to spread the ball around. So I've got receivers galore making touchdowns in this. I got George Kittle getting a touchdown. I got Deebo Samuel getting a touchdown. I got Brandon Ayuk getting a touchdown. And I got Trent Sherfield getting a touchdown. All 4 of those guys are going to get touchdowns in this game, and the 49ers are going to execute in a big way. So I got 1 for all those guys.
My goodness gracious. I need to go pick up all of them right now in fantasy. Trent Sherfield is out there, right? I need to go just snag him up right now and play him this week in the flex spot because 1 tutty, and that's going to get him darn near close to double digits, and that's what you need out of your flex guys in fantasy. On the defensive side of the ball, again, with the specifics for me, Samson Ebukam, D. Ford, and Nick Bosa are going to account for a combined 5.5 sacks between the 3 of them. Expect it. Look for it. It's going to happen. You'll see tomorrow in a simulation how the 49ers pass rush could absolutely obliterate Jared Goff and this Detroit Lions front, but just calling it right now. 5.5 between the 3 of them. I won't give them each individual sack numbers. We'll just say there's going to be a couple of times where a lot of them are going to get there at the same time, and it's just going to look like one of those compression things. It's just going to compress Jared Goff, and by the end of the game, he's going to turn sideways and you won't be able to see him.
Yeah. I like that. I like the 5.5 sacks. You got very specific. I don't know if we're going to get an asterisk at the end because you said something about compressing. Okay. Look, I'm going to go with the 49ers are going to create 3 turnovers.
Fair.
I got the 49ers defense creating 3 turnovers, whether that is interceptions. I think 2 will probably be interceptions and 1 fumble. And I think that it's going to be a nice game for the 49ers. I almost went 4. That's how confident I am in this defense making big-time plays against Jared Goff and this Detroit offense.
They got some problems coming their way. I don't know if they realize it yet, but there's definitely some problems. Just around the bend for the Detroit Lions. I think they say they're prepping and they're getting ready, but can you really get ready for what's about to happen? I don't know if you can.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like walking into a tsunami.
Or am I ready? Can we even do this? Who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
I don't think they're ready. I think they have an idea what they want to do. Now, the only things that can really help Detroit in this game is the fact that there's a lot of unknowns. You don't know exactly what this offense, defense are going to look like. You have an idea. The coaching staff has more former players than almost any staff in the NFL.
Also true.
So they have a little bit of a different way of handling business. So I am curious what ultimately the offense and defensive schemes look like, because we have no idea what those are, and there's no film that's going to give us an idea of what they are, because the preseason they didn't run anything. They barely played any of their starters. So really everybody's going to be finding out for the first time, on Sunday, and maybe they're going to come out there and execute early on. We'll see. I think it's going to take them a little bit of time to get it going. And that's part of the reason that I think that, the 49ers are going to handle business and cause some turnovers early on.
I like it. I agree with it. I think it's not just bold, Ant, but reachable. It's a reachable boldness, right? 3 turnovers is a lot, especially since you got guys out there and certain people talking about how the Niners don't create enough turnovers. Well, guess what? Week 1, they're going to get off to a hot start. 3
is a lot.
3 is a lot in a single game. It 100% is. But when you get in 5.5 sacks, you expect it, because Jared Goff, the Gaff man's just going to start slinging. No look passes, Ant.
Yeah,
so you start Patrick Mahomesing it, except without the accuracy.
You're trying to put the 49ers on pace to break to break the 85 Bears 72 sacks.
100%.
Okay.
You got it.
I like it. I like it.
This group's got it. This group's got all of it. And now, folks, one of our favorite things in all of just Cutback land, all of our Cutback content that we do, there is nothing more fun than Lock It Up when the 3 of us get to make our picks. The Cutback crew gets to make our picks, as well as a channel favorite, the Azorean One, Anthony Steves. It's time for Lock It Up.
Look in my eyes, what do you see? The cult of personality. Cutback, how have you been? Huh? I've been good. It was a great off season. Summertime was nice. You went to the beach. Went to the beach. Monterey, Carmel, Pacific Grove. Just beautiful. Just the beach and the clouds and the cool, but also warm, but cool. Just want to go back. Enough about me. How was your off season? I don't care. I'm not listening. Listen, enough of that. Time to get serious. And if anyone's going to get serious, it's this guy who has drawings on boys' art in school. Time to get serious, okay? I know being the Lock It Up guy didn't quite go out the way I wanted to last season, just like our San Francisco 49ers. But you know what? That's okay. You know why? Because I'm still here. I'm back, and I'm gonna prove to you that I am your Azorean chief. You will acknowledge me as your Lock It Up champion, and I will prove it this season. With that said, without further ado, I'm going to give you my picks for the opening week of the NFC West in the 2021-2022 NFL schedule. So here we go. All right, the Seahawks are going to make the Colts go to sleep. Seahawks over the Colts. The Titans are going to spear right through the Cardinals. Titans over the Cardinals. And the Bears are going to coffin drop right onto the Rams. Bears over the Rams. And of course, the Niners are going to use a lion tamer and tame those lions. Niners over the Lions. And if you're not getting any of these references, you are not keeping up on the world of professional wrestling. I'm just saying. There's a lot going on, but that's a different topic, different podcast. So, there's my picks for the opening week of the 2021-2022 NFL season in the NFC West. It's good to be back. It's nice to be here. Man, and I'm telling you, I'm proving to you right now, hear me out, I will be your Lock It Up champion. Saying it right now, it's happening here. I will become your Lock It Up chief. I'm becoming Judas in my mind. I'm becoming Judas in my mind. It's good to be back, Cutback.
It's time for Lock It Up. And you know what? Steve's always gets me. He always makes me laugh. Always. I don't know about the singing voice.
Yeah, I was a little unimpressed with the singing voice. The rest of it was good, though.
He is one cult of personality, though. I'll give him that. So, I mean, at least it was accurate in that.
Judas.
Can't believe he did it. But you saw his picks, right? You saw what Mr. Steves had. First matchup, though, on the docket that we're going to talk about, and we're going to break this down. Rams, Bears. Guys, let's see what we went with. And, ooh, look at this across the board. Ant, Rams, why are you feeling that way?
With the Rams, I just think that they're going to be a little bit too much. I don't have any faith in the Red Rifle playing quarterback for Chicago. I think that LA gets it going early, and they just go ahead and take care of this game. I do think it's going to be somewhat close for a while, but ultimately the Rams win the game 27-19.
Very good there, very good. Horseman, why are you feeling... We're all in the same boat here with the exception of the Steves. Why are you going Rams?
I feel like the Rams have better players, better coaches, better strategy. But besides that, the Bears have a lot going for them. No, I think the Rams are just a better football team than the Bears, and they've proven to be really well coached over the last few years. I have them winning, not a blowout or nothing, but staying ahead the whole game, putting away late in the fourth, 28-13.
I just don't trust the quarterback play. That's what it comes down to for me in this situation. If you're going to make me choose between Matthew Stafford and you're going to make me choose between the Red Rifle, I'm going Matthew Stafford all day, every day. I know he may not be 100% healthy yet, but Andy Dalton has not shown me anything in the last few years that makes me think he can do this and get this done. Both defenses, I feel, are on par. I'd say the Rams right now have a slight edge up at the moment, and therefore, for me, they're going to go there. And the Cutback Crew, you guys can see there, 64%, one of the closer votes for them. They're going with the Rams as well. One odd man out in this matchup in this week, and it's a Steves. We'll see if that either pays off for him or bites him in the butt.
Usually makes me feel pretty good about my pick.
Always good. Next up on the docket, guys, is the Cardinals and the Titans. Let's see what everyone went with. Ooh, it's a clean sweep across the board. Look at that. 90% of the Cutback Crew thinks it's going to be the Tennessee Titans. Ant, why are you going that way?
I definitely wasn't as confident as the Cutback Crew. 90% no. I was here going back and forth between the Titans' run game being so successful or Arizona Cardinals' pass game being successful against the Titans. Ultimately, I thought Henry's just a little bit too much, and they get it done in the end, 34-31.
I had similar thoughts to Anthony. I think Derrick Henry and up front, they're just going to be too much of a problem for him. Came down to me, Mike Vrabel versus my guy, Cliff Horseberry, and I take Vrabel.
Sure. Took Vrabel over yourself. Nice.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
I definitely would.
Look, for me, this was tough as well. I feel both secondaries have some weaknesses and some issues. While I like the weapons offensively for the Arizona Cardinals, I feel this game is going to come down to who can control the ball a little bit more and who can pound the rock when they need to. I feel this may be an offensive shootout a little bit at times. And so I'm going to have to give the edge to Derrick Henry in this running game for the Titans. They're going to be able to extend some drives and basically bleed the clock when they want to, as well as take the big shots downfield with A.J. Brown and with Julio Jones. I got Tennessee in this one, 31-28.
Okay. Nice and close. So me and you are a 3-point game last night.
I have a 4-point game.
Ooh, look at that. It's real close indeed. Then we got to deal with and talk about the Seattle Seahawks in their matchup, right?
Must we?
Against the Colts. This is an interesting one. We'll see where we go here across the board. And a little bit of a split here. We got the Cutback Crew at 68% going with the Colts, And Ant and Horst and the Azorean One, Mr. Steve's going with the Seattle Seahawks. Why are you leaning that way, Ant?
I'm taking Russ. I mean, that's really what it comes down to is, in the end, I'm counting on Russ to make enough plays to beat the Colts because I don't have enough faith in Carson Wentz. So when it came down to it, I thought the teams... I think the Colts have a better football team? Yes. The Colts are better than the Seahawks, and I think that even them playing at home, they have an advantage, but Russ cancels out some of that advantage, and they get it done. So the Seahawks win this game in a very tight one, 23-21.
Yeah, I have something similar, a little more high scoring than you. But I feel like it's going to look like the Seahawks are in trouble. Fourth quarter, going to be 4th and 12. Russ is going to look like he's going to get sacked. He's going to do a barrel roll into a somersault, get up, throw a touchdown.
This stuff again.
Do you remember this got him an asterisk last year for half the season?
No,
He's
but
start
all
off with an
jokes
asterisk already.
aside, I feel like Russ is just going to make one too many of those Russ plays in the fourth quarter.
That's 100% fair. And Russ cooks. That's what Russ does.
Yeah.
I am going to... This one was hard. I went back and forth a lot with this. It came down to a few things. One, yes, Carson Wentz's struggles were in Philadelphia. How much of that was on Carson Wentz and how much of that was just on the terribleness that was that Philadelphia team?
Right.
I'm willing to give Reich some credit in what he's trying to do there with this Indianapolis Colts team. They took a big, huge risk going after this guy, and their defense is still solid. I feel that their defense can slow down Russ enough to put them in positions where their offense is going to have some easy opportunities. Taylor looking to have a breakout sophomore campaign and build on his great performance from his rookie season. I'm going to go with the Colts on this, but it's going to be a tight one, 24-20.
I sure as heck hope you're right.
I hope I'm right.
Yeah, I would be okay with you being right as well.
I'll take it. I'd love it to go 4-0 to start off the season 2 of Lock It Up and just give myself a nice big advantage. Because, guys,
you're going to need it. I'm
going to need it, and we all know we got the 49ers versus Lions. Hey, I wonder what's going on here. I wonder if everyone went with San Francisco.
Yeah.
I'm stunned. I'm absolutely stunned, Ant. Cutback Crew, 81%. And some of you may be going, wait, the Cutback Crew? The Lions fans showed out in force this week on the poll.
They did. They showed up and they let their thing be heard. Some of their trash talk, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the energy. I liked it. They said they were coming from the kneecaps, and I like it.
They keep that energy after Sunday.
Yeah, it's great energy. I like that competitiveness. I don't mind if they come around and watch the videos and comment and have fun with everybody. Don't take it too serious. It's football, man. It's fun. But I took this serious in the fact that the 49ers are going to absolutely mollywop the Detroit Lions, and I got them handling business. In fact, I think this is going to be put away early, and the 49ers win 31-13. And that 13 only happens because the Detroit Lions score a late touchdown. I think it's that bad.
We're actually pretty close along the same lines. My reasoning would be that there is not an aspect of football or coaching that the Lions have the advantage in. I mean, obviously stuff happens. It's the NFL. I have the 49ers winning 31-20. I actually think the Niners start a little slow, and a big defensive play gets them fired up, and then they roll.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah, I'm going to say the offense comes out cooking in this game. 38-10 San Francisco. There's not enough offensive firepower there in Detroit. The gaff man is going to gaff. That's going to put the 49ers offense in positions to capitalize early. They're going to capitalize early, and this thing's going to be over before you know it. And then it's going to be a lot of Green 18 said hut, and handing the ball off to Raheem Mostert, Trey Sermon, get some Jamal Casey action in there hopefully as well.
Yeah, I think you could be right. The run game's going to take over in this game definitely late and put the Lions away.
We're going to see a very angry Dan Campbell.
That is for sure.
For sure.
Ooh, so you saw the picks. You heard it from all of us, right? All of us made our picks. We got our teams going. You can see there at the bottom, you'll be thinking the scoreboard's empty. That's because no games are official. There are no records to display just yet for Lock It Up. But did anyone's picks surprise you, Ant, at all whatsoever?
Not really. I mean, I think some of these were toss-ups. The Colts-Seahawks one, it all just depends on how you're looking at it. If it's an early game like that at 10 a.m., a lot of times it favors the home team. When a West Coast team has to travel like that, it usually does. But I'm just looking at it. Unfortunately, it seems like Russ always wins those football games. Even though the Colts should win the football game, I just think it's going to be the Seahawks. I think the other ones were also kind of razor tight. The only one I didn't think was really close was Niners-Lions, and then Rams-Bears. I thought it was another one that there was a little bit of distance. Not a lot, but a little bit of distance in that one.
That's fair. I think that was the only game. I think that was the only game where we had pretty much almost a consensus except for one person. So Steve's is either going to be rubbing that in our faces next week when he tunes in for Lock It Up again, or we're all going to have an additional game up on a Steve's, which would be nice. I would prefer if I had just multiple games up on everybody next week and went a perfect 4-0, but it never quite works out that way.
Well, we picked one game difference. So you're going to have multiple games ahead.
Well, I meant multiple games ahead of a Steve's because I think
you might have. You might have multiple ahead of a Steve's, but you said everybody.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I should have just said a Steve's. My bad.
You're not getting at that much distance yet, sir.
Not that much, just a smidge. Just a smidge. Look, this was good. We got through all of our Lock It Ups. We got through our key matchups of this game, as well as our Wow That's Bolds, which are always a lot of fun. But Cutback Crew is one of our favorite times. It's time for Q&A from you. So any questions that you got about this game, let us know. Start leaving them down there in the comment section right now so we can get to them. But Ant, what are you most excited about heading into Sunday and week 1 with it actually being here? What is the thing you're looking forward to the most?
I think the main thing is just the feeling, the atmosphere that you're going to be able to see your football team play out there again, and you know that they have an opportunity to be very successful the way that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have built it. I'm excited to see how they're going to attack on both sides of the football. And I think that, last year was kind of just a bad year, and we want to get that taste out of our mouth, and the best way to do it is to get another season going. But there's just something exciting about getting into the NFL season and the fact that, football is back and just enjoying watching the football games. The pressure that you feel when the 49ers play, I don't know if you have the same as me, but I do hang on almost every single play. I'm kind of like into it. I want the 49ers to win, and I want them to execute, and sometimes I get frustrated and have to hold it back, but that's what I'm excited for. That feeling again of 49ers football, the excitement, the anticipation, all of that is what I'm looking forward to on Sunday.
Absolutely. That's kind of where I'm at, is just actually being able to watch this team go out there and know that it counts, right? Everything that happens from here on out going forward, it matters. It's going to have an impact on where this team finishes the year out. It's going to have an impact on their playoff standing. It's going to have an impact on where they sit in the NFC West. All of it matters going forward. And as an athlete, right, there's nothing better than competition. As a coach, there's nothing better than preparation and being able to play that game of chess that you're preparing for each and every week. And here on the Cutback, being able to cover this team that we love, the sport that we love, and be able to talk about this group and just where we think they should be and where they're actually at is one of the more exciting things that we get to do each and every week. And now it's official. Everything counts. Everything goes down on the record, right? You go out there and put out there that the Lions are a top 5 line. You cannot take that back. And that is out there for all eternity.
It definitely is out there. And you know what? Maybe it'll end up happening. I don't know that for sure. We haven't played any regular season games.
Also true.
Pretty much everything that we've been saying is just, I guess guesses, educated guesses on what you're looking at, what you're seeing.
Well, especially with this Detroit team, right? Yeah. Because they didn't do a whole lot in the preseason with their starters.
No, I mean, that's what I was telling you when we were talking about breaking down film. It's like, what are we going to break down? Detroit hasn't done anything in the preseason. They didn't play barely any of their starters. They haven't really gotten into any of their schemes. So there's not a lot of film for Kyle Shanahan and these guys to go off of. They're pretty much going to have to, go off some of the personnel and what they do well. But even the personnel was different. There's a lot of changeover overall. So I think the real easy part is, make sure you stop Swift, make sure you get after Goff, and then you just frustrate these receivers early in plays and make them have to beat you down the field. And I think the 49ers can do it and then get after them. But, it's a little bit of a different game. I think after this, when you have film, it's easier to prepare for a team. But that first time when you're playing a team and a coach that hasn't been together before, there is a little bit of a change.
Absolutely. Great question here from David Campbell. Will Mitchell be the kick returner this game? It's looking like he is going to be kick returning. Whether or not that is the entirety of the game or whether or not it's just him going out there and starting as the kick returner, I think this is the goal. I think this is the plan. They're going to test this guy out this game and see how he does.
Yeah, there's an unofficial depth chart, from the 49ers media, people that said that he was the kick returner. I think that's the only glimpse that we really have of it. Other than the Raiders game, he had a nice return, a couple nice returns, but one of them was a very nice return. So I think he has the opportunity to do so. So as long as Hightower feels that he's not going to turn over the ball, they'll probably give him the opportunity to do it. Because unless they're going to have Travis Benjamin up, then it could be Travis Benjamin. It's going to be one of those two guys. I would think kick return duties go to Elijah Mitchell, and then punt return duties go to either Mohamed Sanu or Travis Benjamin, depending on if Travis is suited or not.
that's going to be a big question to look out for. We had talked a little bit about just the 5 big questions that week, and that was not one that made the list, but it's definitely one now that's in the forefront of our mind, especially with the Jalen Hurd news and situation with his knee coming out.
Yeah.
This is definitely something to keep an eye on. They protected him as well. So, Travis Benjamin could be a guy that comes up and returns either or. He could return kicks and he could return punts. So it's definitely something to look out for. JLE, are you worried about these Lions wide receivers? Me, not worried 1 second.
Yeah, I wrote down the receivers that actually knew who they were. And that, of course, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Tyrell Williams, Khalif Raymond, and Quintez Cephas. Khalif Raymond's fast. I mean, he's got that going for him.
Okay.
But really, I mean, besides Amon-Ra, I mean, he's the only one I think that can operate over the middle of the field with consistency. I think Williams is just going to try to take the top off. So to me, no, this receiving group is not very talented. I feel sorry for Jared Goff. If they don't get this run game going with Swift, there's not going to be anyone to throw the football to. So I won't be surprised if the 49ers don't try to strangle that run game early, put an extra guy in the box occasionally, and just get after Swift and make Jared Goff have to beat them throwing the football, on 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, those type of things. Because really they don't have the talent on the outside. If you're going to have an injury at the cornerback position, this might be the week to have it.
Definitely the week to have it for sure, indeed. But yeah, no, this wide receiving core for the Lions is a weaker one. It's not one that's extremely strong. Haven't really done a whole lot of things that impress you and really just elevate them to massive levels of concern. If you look at the weapons that Jared Goff had with the Rams, is not even close.
Yeah,
it's nowhere near the same level of talent. I would say there's an upgrade in the receiving aspect with T.J. Hawkinson, and even to an extent with the blocking aspect in the run game with T.J. Hawkinson. But that upgrade there is negated by the massive downgrade on the perimeter outside of him. It's just not there. And as much as I like what DeAndre Swift has done in the league so far, he hasn't done it as a bell cow, as the number one back who has to eat up and take a lot of carries in this league. So he's still untested. He's still, still a newbie, really, in the eyes of the league. You don't really know how he's going to hold up if he can keep the level of production that he's had on a minimal carries with an extended amount of carries in this league. I know people always talk about that with Raheem Mostert, right? But Raheem Mostert put together at least an 8-game stretch. DeAndre Swift hasn't even done that yet. So everything with this Lions team is really untested. And Sunday, we're going to get to see, right, them actually try and execute and perform the test and see how they pan out. It's going to be a tough one. This Niners team, top to bottom, is going to make it as difficult as humanly possible for this Detroit offense and defense.
Well, you would think their strength of the offense is their offensive line. And unfortunately for them, the strength of the 49ers defense, the defensive line, is a bigger strength than the offensive line for Detroit. And as long as that defensive line takes care of business, this game can get out of hand really early. Because that defensive line is impressive. They're very good, and I think they're pretty much healthy. And as long as they're healthy, there's not very many offensive lines in the league that can stop them. And if Detroit does, then maybe Vish is right. And they are an top 5 offensive line. We will see. I don't think they are. I think they're good. I don't think they're that good. I think they're more top 15 in the league, but you know what? We'll find out. You can only prove it on the field on Sunday, and I'm looking forward to seeing this gold rush get out there and get after it. All the different ways they're going to be able to use each guy's traits and strengths, the way Chris Caceres can be able to move them around, the way D'Amico Ryans is going to put in zone blitzes and stuff to be able to take advantage of everyone's skill set. It's going to be fun to watch.
That is for sure. It's definitely going to be. Megan, do you think the second and third string guys will go in if the score is up by a lot in the third and fourth quarter to prevent any injuries? Yes, it could happen. It depends on what you mean by a lot. Really, the definition of a lot is kind of where it varies, right? It could differ. I think if the Niners are up 3 touchdowns late into the third, going into the fourth quarter, you could see some guys rotating in at certain positions that they don't think are going to be backbreakers. If it's not going to impact or affect their ability to run the football, then yes, you could see some O-linemen going in as well as additional receivers and, getting Kittle maybe off the field or at least limiting the amount of time that he's on the field.
8 minutes left in the fourth quarter is when you'll start seeing backups going.
I like it. Specific.
Unless it's like some crazy 50-point score, then they're way up that big. But anything that's under 30, it's going to be 8 minutes into the fourth quarter that you'll start to see backups.
I like it. there. David Campbell, what's up with Kinlaw? Is it the problem? Is it the problem knee still?
Seems like it.
As of now, yes. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, he's dealing with some sort of soreness or whatever. I think it's more maintenance. I think this is what they're trying to do. They're going to do this with him all throughout the season. is they're going to give him times where he has breaks during practice and then he plays during the games. So until Kinlaw misses a game, I'm not as concerned about him as like I would like with the Jalen Hurd, only because we've seen Kinlaw out there and he's been able to be very impressive. I think they're just being very overly cautious with him because you need him on the field on Sunday. So you don't need him on installation days at practice. He's done training camp. He was in the facility all through the offseason working out. So he's put in the work. He's in shape. He's ready to go. It's all about maintaining your body now. Things change. You're not trying to get in shape anymore. Now you're just trying to keep it. So the way they manage players and players not practicing is not as big a deal now as it was going through training camp.
It's very true. And look, with knee stuff, there's always going to be questions, especially with you got lineman situations with knees and things of that nature with Kinlaw. Until we get something in which Kyle Shanahan states there's been a setback of some kind, I'm not going to get overly worried or panicked about this. There's really no reason to. Until then, I got to assume this is just sort of a maintenance situation. The one that's still a little bit of a question is Emmanuel Moseley, and Tommy brought that up. Mosley's not practicing. Who's starting in his place? A lot of people might say Josh Norman. Do you think there's any world where it's Diamador Lenore?
I think it's going to be a split. I think both of them are going to see time. I wouldn't be shocked if Norman starts and then Diamador Lenore comes in and plays, or Diamador Lenore starts and Josh Norman comes in and plays, depending on situation, matchups, that kind of thing. Because I don't think they want to play Norman the entire game. I don't know if he's capable of playing 60 to 65 snaps in a football game. He's not in football shape. But Lenore is proven to be good. Now, the thing that people aren't thinking about, and some people might go jump off a ledge after I say this, is it could be Dante Johnson. Dante Johnson might actually be the guy that starts out there at corner, and they know that he's just a consummate professional. He's going to know what he's supposed to do, and he's going to be able to get it done. He's out there practicing, so it might be him. So I wouldn't even be surprised if it's him coming off the practice squad and ultimately starting. So yeah, any one of those guys makes sense. I think if I was a betting man, I would say it was probably Demo, and then Norman sometimes would come and spell him in certain series because I think they do want to see him on the field. But right now I have no idea. I'm still hoping Mosley's going to end up playing. That's where I'm kind of at as well. I'm really hoping that he can get out there and get some stuff done. Tomorrow will be the telltale sign. Yep. Right. Friday's practice will be the kind of the this is happening or it's not. If he's out there doing some stuff, there's going to obviously be a chance. If he's not out there doing anything, this is really, 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 really super far in doubt. And I would say it's time to start looking at the other names because it's not most likely going to be Emmanuel Moseley. It's just not going to be the case if he's not out there in Friday practice. So hopefully he's able to get out there and get going. Caleb had asked a little bit earlier about Madden. We've had a busy week this week, Caleb, but Saturday, everything should get started and get rolling with that. So just stay tuned to your emails. Stay tuned to the Discord as well, because I'll start sending invites out and getting people into the Madden Fantasy channel on Discord so we can start talking and planning a little bit. So just stay tuned. Madden Football League getting ready to start soon. Highlights for the playthrough are going to be coming later tonight. So those of you who are working late night shifts, you'll get a little sneak preview as well of the Madden playthroughs for Patreon. Yeah, I see Tommy thinks it should be Dante Johnson. It could be. Could be. Yeah, it could be. I mean, I wouldn't put it past the 49ers. They definitely wanted to keep him around. I think they are comfortable with him. And then Caleb thinks it should be Brian Allen. No, we don't talk about the dumpster fire. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about this on that podcast. No, we don't know more. No, we said we weren't going to talk about it anymore, and then we talked about it like 5 more times, and then we joked about how it was never going to be talked about again, and then it gets talked like 3 more. No, okay, no. I think Caleb should have to have Brian Allen as his corner in his Madden league. I agree. Not on the practice squad. He has to start for you. Acknowledge him, Caleb. You better acknowledge him. You better acknowledge him indeed. No, Megan, we have no idea. No idea what's going on with Zeke or why. Oh, the Cowboys are playing? Apparently the Cowboys are playing the Bucks. Something about Thursday night football. And who knows? Yeah. The Niners aren't playing, so who cares? Yeah. Who cares? Rest of the league's dead. Who dat? Who dare? Yeah. But speaking of this channel, right, and things going on with this channel and growth for this channel and just doing a lot of different things with this channel, tomorrow is a huge day. It is. On the 49ers Cutback channel here on YouTube. There is so much happening. There is so much coming your way. Whether it's 9 a.m. tomorrow with our Madden simulation of the Lions versus the 49ers. You don't want to miss that. One's a lot of fun. Ant and I are commenting over a simulated Madden game between the two teams in which I've set up the 49ers roster to execute the Shannon plan on offense and execute the Ryan rotation on defense with the D-line. It's quite an impressive
simulation with some twists and some turns along the way.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun. I got to see it for the first time by doing commentary, so the commentary is real reaction. And it was exciting. It was fun. And if you enjoy Madden, you'll enjoy it.
You definitely will. And that's not the only thing. You get a daily show at 11 a.m. as well. So 9 a.m. you get a Madden simulation. 11 a.m. you get a daily video. And then at 1 o'clock, we're debuting a new show. But it's not. You already said that Know Your Opponent was going to be at 5:30 p.m. on Friday. That's a new show.
Yeah.
But there's another show at 1 debuting tomorrow?
Yeah, Jay and the Bay is going to put out a show on the 49ers Cutback channel. What's Good with Jay and the Bay. That's going to be coming out at 1. It's going to be fun. Jay and the Bay is going to be on the 49ers Cutback every Friday at 1 o'clock. At
1 o'clock, you get your daily dose of Jay in the Bay. What's Good? It's going to be a lot of fun. You're not going to want to miss that. It's a good episode. This first one is a doozy of an episode. It's a lot of fun. Jay has a good time. It's fun just producing that and getting that out there. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well. And then, yeah, like you talked about, Know Your Opponent, 5:30 p.m. tomorrow as well. I mean, you got 4 videos coming your way. 4 different ways for you to engage with the Cutback Crew. 4 different, basically, topics and ways to approach this game. Man, Friday is jam freaking packed.
Yeah, Friday's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to all these conversations that we're going to be able to have, and everyone getting to see different perspectives from 49ers people. I'm really looking forward to getting into the Know Your Opponent too, where we can really get into it with a Detroit Lions guy and really break it down from the inside, from what Detroit thinks of their team and what they think of Dan Campbell and how they plan on attacking this 49ers offense and defense.
True. That's true. I mean, we're trying. We're doing everything that we possibly can to branch out with this channel and bring you guys different not only perspectives but just different types of content, different ways to look at and talk about the game of football. So that way you have everything that you need, right? Everything that you need to engage with the Cutback Crew, the Cutback community, to see the 49ers from a variety of different lenses, as well as know your opponent, know what's coming up, we won't have one this week. We won't have an all-22 film preview, mostly because the Lions didn't really give you anything to preview in the preseason. But next week, you have the start of all-22 film breakdowns on Patreon, as well as all-22 film previews on Saturdays.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to be able to get into the games. We're going to be able to break down what the 49ers do on Tuesdays, and what they need to do in the future. It'll just get all into the film, all 22. It's going to be exciting. And then, on Saturdays from now on, people are going to be able to go and see how we break down the team that we're going to be playing and how the 49ers are going to plan to attack it. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. And it's something that I know me and you both look forward to, is getting into the film. I'm looking forward to adding those things to our already increased lineup of content.
And it's only going to continue to get bigger, and we can't do it without you, Cutback Crew. So thank all of you who tuned in live, who watched the replays, who subscribe, who share the videos, who likes. Whether you're on Patreon, whether you're a channel member, it doesn't matter what you do. Every time you engage and interact with the Cutback Crew, you engage with us and interact with our videos, you're helping this channel grow. You're helping us get to that next level, and you're helping us continue to pump out this great content. We can't thank you enough. We really can't.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate it. We appreciate the interaction in all avenues, whether it's on social media, doing like David Campbell sending us a great picture of him wearing the 40 freaking Niner shirt with his grandkids.
Beautiful.
It was probably one of my favorite pictures I've seen in a while. I really like that. And just interacting with us in every aspect, that we are kind of getting out there trying to interact with everybody as well. It's exciting. Get involved, have fun. Let's talk 49ers. And now we're finally getting into the season where we can live and die with our team. We can have these big ups, hopefully no downs, because I would just want to have an exciting season. But yeah, I'm looking forward to all the interaction we're going to have moving forward.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's so much great content coming your way. There's still a game that we get to talk about and watch on Sunday. So let's get geared up. Enjoy Friday's lineup. We got a lot of stuff for you. And until then, Cutback Crew, you stay safe.
Remember, the right way
is always the 49ers way.